Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today we'll be talking about the New England Patriots and their offseason plan. So if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. Let's get into the video. Alright, New England Patriots off-season plan. First up, we have our re-signings. So first up, at tackle, we're going to be doing Mike Onwenu. We again re-signed to the New England Patriots. He had a 71 PFF grade, a 68 pass block, 72 run blocking grade. He's an elite guard, great tackle. Coming into the league, he was a guard, but obviously made the move to tackle throughout his career. So he has experience at both positions. He deserves a long-term contract. He's been really good since coming into the league. I remember his rookie year, he was so dominant. I was like, wow, how did the Chiefs do this? And you need to keep your quarterback upright, whether it's Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, whoever it's going to be for quarterback next year, or a veteran that we don't even know of. You got to keep him upright. And Mike Onwenu has been doing a great job of that since being drafted. So basically, I signed him to a 4-year, $57 million contract. $33.5 million of it is guaranteed. That's about 60% of it. As you guys know, I like to do 60% of my contracts as guaranteed money. If you look throughout the league, 60 to 65, sometimes 58, 59% of the money will always be guaranteed. Usually it's the first 2 years are near fully guaranteed. The third year is half to maybe, I don't know, 3/8 of it, something like that. And the last year, usually it's no guaranteed money or very little guaranteed money. So as you can see, I structured it just like that. Moving up, we have Miles Bryant. This year he had 66 tackles, an interception, 18 stops, and 84 run defense grade. He's a top 10 run defending corner in the league. So that's why I mainly wanted to re-sign him, because in certain packages you're gonna want that run defense, and he's still a okay coverage guy. But in those rundowns, he's a very good guy for what you need him to do at corner. He's still only 26 years old, so he still has a lot of room of improvement. That's why I said maybe he could still develop that coverage a little bit more. But as it comes to run defending, he's amazing. It's still pretty cheap with high upside. So I gave him a 2-year, $12 million contract, 8.5 of it guaranteed. That comes out to 70%. A little high on the upside, but I think with that run defending and how young he is, you might have to guarantee a little bit more of that. First year fully guaranteed, second year nearly half guaranteed. Next up, we have Mack Wilson. He had 20 tackles, 12 stops, and an 87 coverage grade. He's been pretty solid since being traded over from the Cleveland Browns. He's a solid rotation linebacker. He's always been good in coverage, even back in his Alabama days, going to the Cleveland Browns, now coming over to the New England Patriots. He's always struggled in run defense, but he's always been really good in coverage. He can be used in certain packages. I think he's a guy that definitely has a high upside. He's gonna be, he's gonna have a role in the league as long as he wants to be in the league. Right now, got him 2 years, 10 million, 6 million guaranteed. Obviously, 60% guaranteed on that. Yeah, Mack Wilson, again, he's a little undersized, not the best linebacker in the world either, but for the role that you ask him to do, I think he does the role pretty damn well. Next up, we have Josh Uche. This year only had 6 tackles and 3 sacks. He had a down season due to injury. Team just straight sucked too. The defense was not good this year. He did have a 12-sack season last year, so a lot of people thought he'd have that breakout season this year. But again, injury, the team as overall, the defense fell off a cliff. I do think there is still potential there. As I said, let it ride. Give him a 2-year contract to where he's still getting paid, but not as much as you could get out of him next year. He could have a 15, 16 sack season next year, and you're saying at $10.5 million and $9 million the year after. It's a complete steal. So as you can see, gave him a 2-year, $19.5 million contract, 13.5 of it guaranteed. Comes out to 69% guaranteed. Nice. But again, I think you sign him tomorrow to this deal, because when healthy, 12 sacks last year, next to Matthew Judon. I think if he can get healthy again, and if you give him enough supporting cast where it's not all relying on him, he's being double teamed, I do think he can go up to that 15, 16 sack region. I don't think he'd ever lead the league in sacks, but he always gets to the rush to the quarterback when he has that chance. You know what I mean? His double team rate was pretty high this year. Obviously due to injuries as well. He didn't play that many games. When he did play, he was playing somewhat injured. I think give him another year to come off an injury, another year of getting, draft picks, free agents, whatever you need to do, just get him some more help, and Josh Uche could be really good and a steal of a contract. Lastly, of the re-signings, I do have Trent Brown. 80 PFF grade, 73 pass blocking, 81 run blocking. He did leave to go to the Raiders to get a big time contract. Ended up not working there. Comes back to the Patriots and has been really good since being back with the Patriots. With this offseason, I decided to lock up both your tackles because to me, the tackles did not play really bad this year. I thought they were actually one of the best parts of the offense in general, whether it's wide receiver, running back, quarterback, other parts of the O-line. I think Trent Brown and Mike Onwenu genuinely were the best parts of the offense. So you lock up both tackles long term. Trent Brown will be paid like number 7, but right now he's playing like a top 3 left tackle. And I think a lot of teams would give him about this amount of money if he did hit free agency. It's a 2-year, $40.5 million contract, 31 million guaranteed. That is 76% of it guaranteed. Because I think if he hit free agency, half the teams in the league will be calling up Trent Brown. He has history at right tackle as well. They'll be calling up Trent Brown saying, hey, left tackle, right tackle, we don't care. We want you on the team. So I think New England needs to keep those kind of guys in-house. Next up, we have the cuts and trades I would make. First cut, it's J.C. Jackson. LOL. He went to the Chargers, got paid, played horrible, got traded back to the Patriots, played okay in his first game back, and didn't really play the rest of the season. He had 26 tackles, 1 interception, and 4 stops with a 34 PFF grade. But he's been bad, just straight bad. He should have never left the Patriots system. And the minute he left, it's like for some reason something clicked off in his brain. Even when coming back to the Patriots, he didn't play really well. Got cut. Got benched. Now I'm going to cut him, saving $14 million. It makes too much sense. Maybe, he goes somewhere else on a cheap deal and has to re-earn that chip on his shoulder of, I need to get another payday. I got to prove that I wasn't a bust of a signing. Let me go somewhere else and flourish. But right now, you save $14 million cutting him. $14 million that you were never going to pay him. You let him walk and you got him back, for a 7th round pick. You cut him, move on from him. Then we have Devon Godchaux. It's interesting. Christian Barmore has really come on as of late. He had 36 tackles, 23 stops, a 50 PFF grade. He played fine. I can see them not cutting him because him and Christian Barmore next to each other have been pretty good. But Barmore has definitely outplayed him. Maybe you could draft someone younger, get a different free agent. You can improve at the interior defensive line. You save $8 million cutting him. I think $8 million, you can go get a better D tackle right now. He's still a retaining candidate. Again, I could see them keeping him, and it's eating that $8 million. So you know what? Devon and Christian Barmore are playing really well together. Let's not mess it up. 23 stops is pretty good as an interior defensive lineman. Again, I could see them keeping him, but if I'm the GM, I'm cutting him and taking that $8 million of free agency. And speaking of free agency, our first candidate in free agency is going to be Tyler Boyd. 67 receptions for 670 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2023. He really honestly outplayed T. Higgins this year. He's been a great number 2, number 3 for years. I remember back in the AJ Green days before T. Higgins and before Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd was a stud. Then obviously he took his role, said, you know what? Jamar Chase is wide receiver 1. I'll be wide receiver 2 this year as usual. Boom. We go to the Super Bowl. Next year, we grab T. Higgins. T. Higgins. T. Higgins, I'll take the wide receiver 2 role. Boom. T. Higgins plays really well in his rookie season. We grab Jamar Chase. Now T. Higgins is wide receiver 2. Fine. I'll take wide receiver 3. I'll be the slot guy and work the intermediate of the field, and I'll play my role. Boom. They go to the Super Bowl. And Tyler Boyd has been that reliable target for years for the quarterback. He's always where he needs to be when it comes to a passing game. Another team I think Tyler Boyd could end up on is the Tennessee Titans, seeing how they just got Brian Callahan. I could see him following Brian Callahan to Tennessee. But right now, I think just getting him to the Patriots would be amazing. He's affordable, will outperform his contract immediately. I think he's one of those guys that is always where he needs to be. And again, another guy, as long as he wants to play football, there'll be teams interested. I gave him a 3-year, $56.5 million contract, $28.5 guaranteed. That is a 50% guaranteed ratio. The reason I only did 50%, he is 31 years old. So I do think there's a chance that maybe his best days are behind him. As you can see, 67 receptions, 670 yards. It's only 10 yards per reception. Not the best in the world. It's solid, but at least you get that 1 year for sure in 2024. In 2025, if he didn't really succeed in 2024, you can save $11 million in cap space cutting him. But again, if he outplays his contract like I think he can, you might want to keep him all the way through 2026. This is a guy who's going to be where he needs to be, and I think that any offense and any young quarterback could use a guy like Tyler Boyd. Next, we have Chase Young. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I overpaid on Chase Young by quite a lot. This year he had 12 tackles, 10 sacks, 20 stops, and a 74 PFF grade. He's a young edge who is still developing. I think him and Josh Uche would be a really good pairing. You throw in Matthew Judon to be a veteran pass rusher as well. I think those two pieces can be really good together. He's a former top pick, still with upside. Injuries have hampered him. Then he was in Washington, gets traded to the 49ers. Hasn't really caught on with the 49ers. I don't see the 49ers re-signing him. He's asked for a lot of money. That's why I said the 49ers can't afford him. So when I decided, you know what? We're going to pay him pretty good money for a pass rusher. But, again, he is developing. So it's going to be a 2-year deal, basically. That third year, you save $22 million cutting him. But the contract comes out to 3 years, $75.5 million, $44.5 guaranteed, 58% guaranteed. Basically, all the guaranteed money is in the first 2 years. You sign him in 2024, you play him 100%. Next year, if he needs to be that, not every down guy, like, okay, this contract isn't working out, he's not what we thought he would be, you might be able to trade him at the trade deadline next year, or you just ride out the first 2 years, and then in 2026, you say, you know what, it didn't work out, we saved $22 million, goodbye. Or him, as a pass rusher, develops, and you find yourself a franchise pass rusher. I still think there's a lot of upside for Chase Young. I think that is still a potential that he becomes a franchise pass rusher. It's just, he's an opposite of Nick Bosa, has Javon Hargrave, has Eric Armstead, and he's not performing really well. How do you not perform well with that defensive line? Maybe he needs to be maybe he needs to have a different scheme. Maybe he needs a different coach to motivate him. Mayo might be the guy to unlock that grit and grind that Chase Young needs. And again, maybe he needs a big money to be like, hey, you have expectations now. You don't have to be, you're not the running mate to Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave. The primary pass rusher for the New England Patriots. Go out and perform. And maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs that drive to perform. But $15 million signing bonus, base salary is not that crazy. I think it's a pretty good contract for Chase Young. Next up, we have Xavier McKinney. Now, this is where it gets a little expensive. 94 tackles, 3 interceptions, 26 stops, and an 88 PFF grade. He's a great, strong safety for your defense. Him and Jabril Peppers might be the best safety duo in the NFL. If Xavier McKinney and Jabril Peppers get paired up together, craziness could happen. This dude has been amazing for the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, but I know especially last year, he was really good. This year continues that dominance. I decided to give him a 5-year, $99 million contract, $59 million of it guaranteed. That is a 60% guaranteed money ratio. And I don't even think the numbers are crazy. Like $9 million signing bonus, okay. Base salary 16, 18, 20, 20, 16. That's top of the line money for the secondary, especially at safety. But if he was a corner, that's like top 5 money. But again, you're projecting that in our scheme, he'll outperform the contract. And he'll get Pro Bowl bids, he'll get All-Pro bids, yada, yada, yada. Like Xavier McKinney, if he's not with the New York Giants who go 2-11, 5-11, 6-10 every year, I could see a world where Xavier McKinney becomes a Pro Bowl guy every year. He's one of those guys that his name is always in the Pro Bowl, always, is this guy gonna get secondary player of the year, safety of the year type vibes. He could be getting that kind of vibes if his team was performing well. And Xavier McKinney going to the Patriots with Jabril Peppers, with the other guys that I mentioned in the free agency, I think that could happen for Xavier McKinney. He finally cashed in on his really stellar play of the last 2 years. Then we have the draft. So, with the draft, I decided to do basically what I thought is going to happen. As you guys know, I'm a very big fan of doing trades in my mock drafts because I think trades happen more consistently than they don't. So with this trade, I had the New England Patriots trading up to number 1 overall over the Washington Commanders, over every other team calling the Bears about wide receiver 1. They say, you know what? We're going to offer more. We're going to offer 2 first-round picks, a second, a third, and a 6th. And all we want back is number 1 and a 4th-round pick this year. So basically, you're moving up from a 4th round to a 3rd round next year. You get 2 firsts, number 34 overall, which is basically another first round pick this year, and a 6th round pick and a future 3rd. And we want 1 and 4. I think the Bears would do it. It's an out of conference opponent, so they would not have to face Caleb Williams once a year basically, and have to face Caleb Williams to go to the Super Bowl potentially. You only face Caleb Williams once every 4 years or in the Super Bowl. And I think the Bears would be comfortable with that, an out of conference opponent getting Caleb Williams. And they still have potential to get another high draft pick next year out of that trade. And the Patriots get Caleb Williams. I mean, you get your franchise quarterback. I tweeted this out actually today. Let me see if I can pull that tweet up. I'll probably put it on the screen right now. By the way, follow me on Twitter. My Nick is hard on Twitter, please. I posted, I've watched film from Drake May and Caleb Williams the last few days, and I could say I would pick Caleb over Drake 10 out of 10 times. Just watching Drake have one read passes and look down that receiver every play compared to Caleb making the play happen separates them for me. I think Caleb Williams is the best improviser quarterback in the league. I mean, in the draft. I wouldn't say he uses his legs like Lamar or Justin Fields while he can. He relies more on his arm strength, and he has the arm strength to back that up. So if he's running around the pocket and escapes the pocket, his first thought isn't, I'm going to run for 50 yards. Or it's, no, I'm going to keep looking downfield, scanning. Finally, you're open. Boom. Or he's directing traffic. Hey, come over here. Boom. I just don't think Drake May has that in him. And I think that the Patriots, with the offensive line at interior offensive line issues that they have, and the wide receiver issues that they have, I think Caleb Williams could massively improve that offense overall immediately, like that. Because Bailey Zappi, we saw some of it with Bailey Zappi when he's on the move. Their offense clicked a little bit more. Mac Jones was a pocket passer, and they just don't have the wide receivers for that. They need a quarterback who can elevate the play of their wide receivers. And if the quarterback needs to make a play, they can get out of the pocket, keep scanning downfield. Boom, Juju. Boom, Tyler Boyd. Boom, Tyquan Thornton. I think Caleb Williams can massively improve that quarterback room. I mean, that offensive group as a whole. Then in the 3rd round, because we traded our 2nd round pick for the Caleb Williams, in the 3rd round, I grabbed Adisa Isaac. He had 9 sacks this past year at Penn State. He's a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's 6'4", 254, a perfect size for an outside linebacker. Again, I think you need to inject more youth and more versatility, more athleticism into this defensive pass rushing group. That's why I grabbed Chase Young. You re-sign Josh Uche. You grab Adisa Isaac. You still have Matthew Judon to be that veteran guy who can help, get all these guys. Hey, here's the mold of what you need to be as a veteran guy to get that 2nd contract, to stick around in the league. And I think Adisa Isaac could be a perfect pairing for that pass rusher group out of Penn State. Then in the 4th round, you got Marcus Rosemy-Jack Saint. He's a solid route runner, great hands out of Georgia. He's a pass type of receiver. I think he's just one of those guys that, he's going to be underrated. He's going to go to the Patriots, have 500-600 yards a season, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns a year, and just be a solid guy that they could rely on in the short to intermediate field. He's not a burner. He's more of just like, he's going to be the guy in the middle of the field that you can dump the ball off to, and he'll get 5 or 6 yards. Every team needs that, Then we have Drake Nugent in the 4th from Michigan. Drake Nugent is a Power 5 center that played significant snaps the last 3 seasons. That's something that the Patriots love, is grabbing those, big collegiate program guys and putting them on the offensive and defensive line. And he's another one of those guys. He's played significant snaps. Has just won a national championship with Michigan. And David Andrews, their current center, is old. I believe he's 34 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually retires this offseason, but maybe he plays one more year and Drake Nugent can sit underneath him, learn and develop the offensive system they're going to run under new head coach Gerard Mayo, and next year is their starter. Then you got Kamani Vidal. He had 1,000 yards after contact. That is number 1 in college football by far. 94 missed tackles forced. Again, number 1 in college football by far. He had 170 zone attempts, 92 gap zone as well. So not only is he a gap attempt guy, he's a zone run guy. So whatever running scheme you want to run in New England under whatever new head offensive coordinator they go and get, he's gonna be able to be. He's gonna play well. Again, 1,000 yards after contact is super impressive at 5'8". And again, 94 missed tackles. He's a fidgety guy. We just saw Tyjae Spears was basically almost the exact same mold as Kamani Vidal, and Tyjae Spears I wouldn't say outplayed Derrick Henry, but he definitely was like, oh, we've got something in Tyjae Spears. He's forcing tackles, he's causing missed tackles. Like this dude's playing good. And I think Kamani Vidal in the 5th round could be the exact same mold as Tyjae Spears. Then in the 7th round, got a Jared Wiley out of TCU. Obviously played in the national championship last year. A solid 6'7" tight end that can be a red zone threat. He had 800 yards and 12 touchdowns the past 2 years. 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaged out. I believe he actually had a bigger last year than this year, which makes sense when, you go to the national championship. You're going to have a better production overall. But Jared Wiley, again, 6'7", it could be a red zone threat. He has history of catching the ball and catching touchdowns. From what I saw as well, they also said he's a pretty solid run blocker. But for me, 6'7", I want you freaking catching the ball all day, every day. I want you to be the Donald Parham of this offense of, you know what? Red zone, just throw it up 8 feet in the air, let Jared Wiley jump, grab it, go down with it. That's what I would do. But yeah, that's my draft for the New England Patriots. You grab Caleb Williams, you trade up for him, grab Adisa Isaac to be another agile, athletic edge rusher. Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint to be a Patriot type of receiver who's just always where he needs to be and has solid hands. Drake Nugent to be the potential replacement of David Andrews. Kamani Vidal to kind of be that Tyjae Spears for this offense. Small guy who can force missed tackles and after contact get a lot of yards. And Jared Wiley to be that big body tight end who can be a red zone threat. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good for the Patriots. If you guys enjoy it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. Next team is obviously going to be the Arizona Cardinals. I'm just kind of going down the draft order of the offseason plans. So eventually your team will get talked about. It all depends on when your team got, where your team is in the draft cycle, where they got eliminated. But yeah, if you guys enjoy, again, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.